Check the sound real quick. Oh yeah, we good. Oh yeah, we good.
All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we would like to give all praise and glory unto
Yahweh
Yahweh
Bahashem
Bahashem
Yahushua
Yahushua
Bahashem
Bahashem
Kakadash.
Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful that got there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful leg, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua. All right, with GMS Mississippi Camp, coming with another weekly lesson. All right, and this lesson is going to go into eternal righteous leaders. And this is a lesson inspired by a conversation that me and the brother had on the ride, and going into how the kingdom that the righteous men of old, all right, are going to have immortality, man. Okay, because if you study Israel, all right, you had generations of obedience. You go back during the time during Joshua, all right, during the time of King David, King Solomon, you had generations of obedience. Josiah, okay, he reformed the temple, removed the idols, okay, but then you will have, one or two generations later, and Israel will be hostage to poor leadership again. Well, that cycle of, you know, righteous leaders, then wicked leaders, you know, that cycle is going to be done away with. Okay. And the 144,000, the first fruit, okay, those are the most superior spirits that the Lord created. And those spirits, okay, are going to govern eternity, okay, in righteousness under Yahweh Shai. You see? So we're finna experience, okay, forever an eternal righteous, all right, government, okay? And this is what we're being groomed up to be a part of. So, you had something else?
Come, I'm gonna read that. Say, one damn, jump to that one.
Okay, you got what you got. Yeah.
Come, this is Isaiah chapter 1, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
How is the faithful city becoming harlot?
Yep.
It was full of judgment, righteous lodged in it,
Yep.
but now murderous.
Yep. So it says, how did the faithful city become a harlot? Speaking of Israel, because Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. So how did the faithful city become a harlot? Okay. How did it that the obedient woman, is the scripture liken Israel to a tender and delicate woman? How did the obedient woman become rebellious? Okay, well, let's get real quick. Isaiah 9:16.
Isaiah 9:16.
Yep.
I got you, bro.
Yep.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 16.
Yep.
It says, for the leaders of this people cause them to err.
For the leaders of these people cause them to err. Go ahead.
And they that are led of them are destroyed.
And they that are led of them are destroyed. So how did a faithful city become a harlot? Well, you got to go back to leadership. Imagine if it was just Sakari and IUIC and ISUPK and it wasn't no GMS. Imagine how Israel would be.
Bunch of Pegasus and Mo.
Yeah, it would be a madhouse. It's already a madhouse, but it'll just be times 1,000.
Yeah.
You see? And then let's get this real quick and get Isaiah 3 and 16. Then we're gonna go back to that.
Can I get NLT, Baba Kasha?
You got it, bro.
Up. This is the Isaiah 9 and 16, the NLT. It says, "For the leaders of the people have misled them, they have led them down the path of destruction."
Mm-hmm. So whenever you see a nation suffering, well, you gotta go straight to the leadership. Hell, it don't matter. Whenever you go to a certain Walmart, it smell bad, the aisles, nothing is in order, the aisles are messy, you can't, you're gonna be like, who's running this joint? You know? So whenever there's a problem with any type of institution, any family, any nation, any business, you got to go to the management. So you look at the management of our people, which these leaders have been given to our people by, their enemies, Esau, Edom. Okay. So our people have been set up for failure, all right, for the last several generations. So what the Lord is doing now, he has risen up men after his own heart, after his own mind, to be leaders, man. You know? Get that Isaiah 3 and 16. And then I think it's one in Esdras.
Yeah, I'm looking for
Second Esdras 1 and 37.
As the king, as the leader, so are the people. Roughly paraphrasing.
Yeah, that's that Sirach. Get that Isaiah. That's gonna be Sirach 10 and 2.
All right, I had what you
and then Isaiah 3 and 16. See, I find it in Ezra.
This is Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16.
Get second Ezra 1 and 37. You got it, bro.
Okay, you still read this Isaiah?
Yeah, get that Isaiah.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. It says, "Moreover, the Lord Yahweh Shah said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with strength and
I mean, it's like 12. Go to 12. So
12? Yeah. For sure. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors.
Yep. As for my people, children are their oppressors. Which Esau, even the scriptures say, "Woe to thee, O land, when thy prince is a child." Okay. So we're seeing the planet Earth being ran by a child. Like, why would this man spray chemicals in the air? That's childish, man. What are you doing? Why would you put this in the food? Why would you clone this? Why would you you look at this nigga, how he runs the earth is like a big child, man. He childish as hell, man.
NLT said childish leaders oppress my people.
Yep. And the leaders that he gives Jake are childish, are children, man. Okay. So you got it, bro.
Kind of back in it says that women rule over them.
And women rule over them. And when you go into that women rule over them, you really get that term matriarch. Okay, because matri or mater, goes back to mother or woman. All right. And then arch, in the Greek goes into rule. So the rule of women, the rule of the mothers. And that's what you see amongst our people. And this matriarch, our people under the matriarch, has been completely destroyed. You see, none of this shit that we seeing happening will never take place again.
Beautiful.
Like, no, because it's to the point now, niggas gotta shut their ass up. The nigga woman, she gotta shut her ass up. Everybody gotta shut their ass up. You done tried it. Okay? You niggas have ran the neighborhood to the ground. The nigga woman has ran a whole generation to the ground. Okay? All under Esau Edom, which he pushes, our people to be destroyed. But see, now the Lord is finna get this thing right. And he's gonna establish his men in power forever. You see, all this back and forth and have a few good years and fall off and going into captivity and wickedness becoming a culture. See, this over with. This is it.
I got to back you up in a minute.
You finished though.
I was going back up on that matriarch and then go back into it. The
Talking about the word.
kind of Edomite and the Google kind of say the same thing, just to put the evidence on it. It says matriarch, a woman or mother who is the head or leads a family or tribe.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you see dominates our people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why as a people, because the scriptures speak about us being the tail, but now as we live in this thing, we see why we the tail. We see the why. And we're last in every category of something meaningful, and first in everything that comes with being degenerate, man.
Mm-hmm.
And dysfunctional, man.
Cool.
So the Lord is He gonna let everybody. He gonna let every heathen have a rulership. All right, and He done let even the women of our people have a rulership under the heathen. Okay, so no one can say that they didn't get to rule. They didn't get to be at the head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no one can ever say that. So the Lord scripture say He set the apostles last. You see, because real quick, let's get that in the second Ezra. Then I know you had another you were holding too.
Okay.
Let's get that in the second Ezra, and then get what you were holding, and then we'll get that.
Let me finish this. And then I'm gonna,
It's a more
yeah, it's a little bit more.
Oh yeah, finish that. Yeah.
It says the women rule over them, O my people. They which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the ways of thy path.
Destroy the ways of thy path. Path goes back to your way of life, your manner, your conduct. Okay. And you look at our people, their manner of life and their conduct is completely ruined and destroyed. What you got, bro?
This is Second Ezra chapter 1, verse 37.
Yep.
I take witness the grace of the people to come, whose little ones rejoice in gladness.
Yep.
And though they have not seen me with bodily eyes, yet in spirit they believe the thing I say.
Yeah, so we believe and we haven't seen Yahweh. So we're that generation. We're those little ones that believe that haven't physically seen Yahweh.
Mhm.
Okay, but we've been preached. Yahweh
Hmm.
has been preached unto us, and we believe.
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead.
And now, brethren, and now, brother, behold, what glory, and see the people that come from the east,
Yep. So that's us coming back. Go ahead.
unto whom I will give for leaders
To whom I will give for leaders. Go ahead.
Abraham,
Yep.
Isaac,
Yep.
and Jacob,
Yep.
Oses,
Hosea.
Hosea,
Yep.
Amos,
Amos.
and Micaiah,
Yep. Micah.
Joel,
Yep.
Abidas,
Yep. Obadiah.
and Jonas,
Yep. Jonah. Yep.
Nahum,
Go ahead.
Abak,
Yeah. Habakkuk.
Abakuk, Stephanus,
Zephaniah.
Agaius,
Yep. Haggai.
Zechariah,
Zechariah. Yep.
Malachi, which is called also an angel of the Lord.
So he went through who? The prophets. He said, that's who I'm going to give the leaders. You see? So the house of David will be a house of prophets, man, whom the Lord will raise up in the latter days, all right, to assume their rightful positions as leaders, man. You see, we fell away because we didn't understand the responsibility of leadership. We took it lightly. That's why we fumbled. We fumbled our rulership. Bullshit.
Every time.
And that's why we're in this captivity and we feel it. You see? So the Lord, all right, has raised us up in captivity, okay, because he, like we said earlier, we're being refined to be those eternal righteous leaders. So we had to go through that refine. We had to wake up in the furnace and then begin to be refined, all right, for leadership. And it's going to go into that when you go into back into Isaiah, But you can get the other one you had, bro.
Okay. This is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21.
Yep.
Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, holding a right seed.
Yep.
How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?
Yeah, you look at the leadership. Okay. And it goes back to who? Esau, Edom. Has fabricated, has glorified the works of our people. Esau glorified the worst of our people. He glorified degenerate behavior. What they call black exploitation.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, you had what? The pimp being glorified, hoes being glorified. That's why most women want to be hoes and ratchet, because it's incentivized to be that.
Mhm.
You
It's
know?
made it seem like it's fun.
Yeah, like, cause you winning. These the ones that you see in the cars and the designer clothes and on trips, and ain't gotta listen to no man, living how they want to live.
Music
see?
videos and shit.
Yeah, so cause you look at our people, Jake is just trying to imitate the latest music video. You know, they wear what they wear on the music videos, they act like they act on the music video. They listen to all the instruction. We was in that rap shit. We listened to everything that them niggas said and took it literal.
Mhm.
Everything that them niggas said, okay, we listened to that shit and took it literal and tried to apply that shit.
It should never
Terrible.
never work.
Terrible results. And there's some of our people that never come out that shit. You know? So how have the noble people become degenerate? Well, it's enchantments through Esau. And how does he enchant the people? Through, all right, wicked leaders, man. You know, these men, these men and women that our people, you know, idolize. You know, your Tupacs, okay, your Boosie, you know, your Trina, your Nicki Minaj, the
Sexy
Cardi
red.
B. All see, Esau gives our people the worst representation. All right, for them to mimic. He gives them the worst, all right, characters to mimic. Okay. So when you look into how the noble people become a degenerate, well, you look at who our people idolize, man. That's why every idol, even in the ancient world, Bacchus and, you know, Pan. I think the Greek guy Pan, you know, it was this nigga. He just liked to party, and he just had an erection forever. So you start to take on the personalities of these different deities that you worship. But now Esau is able to set up live idols, all right, with the leaders that he gives to our people, because we're the only people that entertainers and rappers are our leaders.
Mm.
Everyone else has leaders that, you know, they might be war heroes, you know, they might be, you know, political heroes, they might, you know, they're serious, they have a serious office in society. Our people are the only people that have leaders of a nigga with blue and yellow teeth, you know, a nigga what's Blueface and Christian, what's that name? Yeah, that's the representation of a couple. That's the representation of how you should be as a couple. You see, stupid shit. You know, Jake got the worst representation on the planet, and it's and Jake. What do? They mimic the worst characters that you can mimic. You see? You got.
Yeah, I had one to
No, you got, bro. Make point.
I had one to add, you know, Yahweh Shemal Shai, he did the planting, and we, as his men, as his servant, was supposed to tend to the land. You know, but now you have you have corrupt leaders, and what corrupt leaders are men who are lackadaisical. They ain't on their duty. You know, because what's a husbandman? Someone who tends the garden. You know, and the only way a plant can go out, you start going out and the weeds get in, because that husbandman is not on his duty. And we're supposed to be on our duty, you know, and we're on our duty, that plant would not become a you know, it won't be a degenerate. It won't all start growing in with the weeds and being choked out. You know, and you have these leaders. You see a husbandman, also, you know, a man who's married to a woman, you know, they was vetted first, because what a man will give his daughter to a man of understanding, meaning he's been vetted. You know, he's someone who can lead.
Yep.
But now there's no one who can lead of this world. There's no one who can lead. So everything has become wild and untamed, and this is what you have: an untamed society, an untamed people. And when you're untamed, you're without bounds. You're a degenerate. You know. And this is what we see. But the Lord, you know what? The Lord of the harvest had prayed. Now what? We have, you know, leaders rising up to come and be leaders and correct the ways, correct the plants.
Matter of fact, get that for you.
Come.
and go into it. This is book of Matthew, chapter 9. Going to what the brother said. This is Matthew 9 and 30. I started 36. And it says, but when he saw the multitude, he was moved with compassion. This is Yahweh Shai. Because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. Then said he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of harvest that he will send forth laborers into his harvest.
Kind. And that's what you see rising up. These leaders that the first fruits are coming up, learning, teaching, correcting the ways of Israel, rebuking, trying to get them corrupt husbands out of here, so what it can become something pleasurable, so when the Lord can come back, he can say, well done, my good and faithful servants. And he gonna bind up all those tares, pit them together and burn them up.
Tares being the wicked, Esau. Because Esau is the source of the poor leadership, because poor leadership starts with him. And he establishes, he established amongst our people, the worst leaders. All right, the worst role model. Okay. And like you say, a nigga is cultivated. Because when you do husbandry, you have to learn about what thrives in different environments, what doesn't do good in different, environments and circumstances. So as a nigga say, he a product of his environment. Well, who created the environment? You see?
Right.
Because when you're doing husbandry work, you can create shade, a plant that might need a lot of shade. So you can create the environment for that plant to have shade. A plant might need a lot of sun. You put it in an environment where it's a lot of sun. So Esau, he knows what produces a nigga and a nigga woman. And he makes sure these niggas have all access to the resources they need to be cultivated in wickedness, man. The drugs, the guns, all right, the constant marketing of living a certain lifestyle, and this, if it's prosperity, So Esau, he knows how to cultivate niggas, man, and he knows how to set up particular leaders, plants, what they say, because what they even call the agents, CIA plants,
CIA operatives.
because that you want that plant duplicated, so you will set a plant, you because what you a plant, because if you wanted to if you want like a honeysuckle, if you take a honeysuckle and you plant it somewhere where it's called an invasive plant, so you can plant it in one place, but it'll start popping up everywhere. So Esau plant one of these niggas on his TV and his media, and now these niggas pop up everywhere. Now it's an NBA young boy popping up everywhere. Now it's a little baby, big boogie. These niggas, so now these niggas popping up every goddamn where.
Ram 2/3 with a no face on, just standing there.
Yeah.
If I may add too, bro, when you said that, I got a precept too, but before I bring that out, you said it's popping up everywhere. Like Esau know how to clone bullshit. What do we see in that movie? They clone Tyrone. He was mainly cloning who? The niggas and the pimps. Like the YNs and the pimps, the street niggas and pimps.
A dope boy pimp in the hoe.
Yep.
And that's the three main characters, okay, amongst Jake. That's the main three archetypes. Dope boy, okay, pimp and the hoe. You see? And those three archetypes have cultivated degenerates. You see? But it all goes back to what? Poor leadership. That's why the Lord is finna establish a righteous government. You see, the Yahweh Shai, he has these elite spirits, okay, that he's refining to be eternal righteous leaders, man. And they're always going to be there. And then our people going to be born into the new covenant. So all our people going to be righteous, man. Okay, and those first fruits are always going to be. That's why scripture speak about our crowns ain't corruptible. It's incorruptible. So whatever status we have under Yahweh Shai, we're going to have that status forever. We're going to have that office forever. We're going to have that authority under Yahweh Shai forever, man. Okay?
Okay.
You can say something?
All right, yeah, I had a quick one.
Got it, bro.
This is Psalms chapter 37, verse 35. I have seen the wicked in great power, spreading himself like a green bay tree.
Ooh, there you go. So Esau has been planted in the earth, all right, in wickedness, and he has spread wickedness throughout the earth. You see? So what we're finna see is Esau be uprooted. Okay? But then he's gonna plant Israel real quick. Get Isaiah 61 and think about 8. You finna say something, bro?
No, I had a precept.
I'm talking about a lot.
Okay, yeah, because like this tree is flourishing because what he said he saw it in great power, meaning what it was up high, you know, and it's spreading itself like green bay tree. It's going out wild, and you see that in this man's society. Sin has become rampant. It has become wild. It just keep getting worse and worse and worse. You know, just look at our women. They basically naked in the streets, and Jake will commit a murder in broad day.
Yep, gun.
You know.
We were going to it in camp yesterday. You know, just going into how, you know, what is that, KBS or KB, you talking about, bro?
We'll start at 8. What you saying, bro?
What you talking about with the KB, with the Russian
KGB?
With the KGB, how it takes 12 to 15 years to reform the minds of a society. And if you look at where we just did a quick example. We were talking about how that Chief Keef song, Don't Like, came out 12 years ago. And if you go and look in that video, everybody like that is now. So like the brother was going into, we haven't even begun to see the repercussions of the shit that Esau is doing now. You know, like you talking about moles and every movie and everything like that. So if the world was to go another 10, 12 years, you know, this shit gonna be way worse than what it is now.
Man, another 5 years. Look how
5 years.
Look how rampant this thing is.
Like you say, bro, every year, like they push it to another. Like you gotta look at where we at. Like you've been looking at these niggas going to proms and niggas, you know, like the niggas going to prom with 100,000.
You know, one bitch had her whole dress was made out of $100 bills or something.
Yeah. Niggas coming in on a helicopter for the prom. What are y'all niggas doing?
And his daddy took him to prom.
Yeah, and you know, here's the people, they cry so much about money problem, but look at what you niggas do. Why are you goddamn a helicopter to prom?
They should have never gave you niggas money.
and niggas go in debt to flex. So it's like you say, these niggas, like you say, every year this shit get worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause it's sped up because Esau, cause information shall go to and fro. See, he's able to enchant quicker. You know, so that cycle of gradually changing the minds of the people is sped up because he got this technology in these children's hands at such a young age. You know, you got it, bro.
You want me to read that?
No. Even make it.
Yeah, also not on that, it's going rap in the young church age, but it's able to change our older people's mindset through that repetition, because you get people like our people that's that's our grandparent age acting like the children.
Damn, come on, bro.
You know, this place will say this place shall surely pollute you.
And destroy you with a sword destruction.
Sword destruction. You know, we understand now. We understand judgment now. Why this place have to be burnt? Cause this place, not a thread of this place can survive.
No.
Everything in here needs to be burnt, because we can't have this, growing out again. You know, it's like a cancer. This behavior like a cancer. You know, wickedness need to be uprooted, and it starts with this man, Esau Edom.
I got a quick precept since you said that real quick. This the book of Sirach chapter 10 and verse 10. It said, the physician, which is Yahweh Shai, cut it off a long disease, and he that is today a king tomorrow shall die.
Mm.
Yeah, so like you said, you know, the earth has become cancerous with wickedness, man. You know, it's a plague. It's infested. Okay, that's why so much fire, you know, has to be brought to the earth, and especially here in America, because it has to be cleansed. You know, and the Lord gonna do a righteous reset, okay, with his people, beginning with the elect. All right, you know, the elect, you're gonna have 144,000 under Yahweh Shai, and these men are gonna be in these permanent positions forever. Okay, governing in righteousness, man, maintaining righteousness. See, this time we get righteous back, we know we gonna maintain this. Hey, even like this look, like you know what I'm saying, like we over here at the spot, like that little piece. Like you like nah, you ain't finna mess this up. You know what I'm saying? Like absolutely not. So imagine that on a grand scale of the earth being in that type of piece. Nah, nigga, we not going back to nah, that's over with. You see, so this is everybody. This is wickedness last hoorah. You know what I say? It's everybody. You should like say the scripture say, rejoice and be glad, oh daughter Eden. You 2/3. You should be in that spirit too. You should just keep having random babies because they finna nuke them anyway. Yeah. So you niggas might as well just keep having random children. You just keep having 8 children, 8 baby daddies. Shit, keep the party going. You know,
bro, what you said? He said, if I was Esau and now the tree, now he said, nigga, I wouldn't own a shirt.
yeah.
Nigga, I pulled up to the strip club with a dump truck full of water.
Wild out.
I got Ecclesiastes, bro. 10. I got 1 through 5 for you. It says a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
Yeah, see, that's what the Lord is gonna bring forever. You see, that's what the Lord is bringing to the earth forever. The government of a wise man, beginning with who? Yahweh Shai. Okay, right now we in the exact opposite of that, man. All right, this man he's completely wicked, and his whole rulership is based on keeping people oppressed and in survival mode and near death. You know, pretty much you just a goddamn battery here, man.
The Matrix.
I was gonna say you can't take this nowhere and show it off. You know, we're supposed to be a representation of your Yahweh Shemel Shai's eternity. Eternal.
Yep.
You know, his image.
Yep.
You know, he want to show us. You know, he want to he want to show us out because we're supposed to be his jewels.
Yep.
You know. You know, and once we, Israel spread out to the galaxies, that's gonna be that representation of his eternity. You know, you can't show this off right here.
Nah, this shit here. Nah.
He said you can't take it nowhere and show it off. You can't. This shit don't fly nowhere but in Babylon. You go anywhere across that water. We seen it with Shaheen Biles. They across the water. These folks laughing at Babylon. The people that's in their right mind, somewhat.
Cause you got to think, beyond Babylon, he created all this. You got space. He created so much stuff we don't even know about yet. And he wants to introduce his sons and his daughters to it. You know, just thinking on a more spiritual scale.
Yeah, like intergalactic.
Yeah.
You know, like cause it's like I say, we're a brand. Like this, what we got now. This is a disgrace. You know, that's why you be in the store and the nigga come in and he like shit, you embarrassed because this nigga, you know what I'm saying? Now they lump y'all together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you see the nigga woman, you see, they pop up loud. It's like, God damn.
Why this bitch so good?
So it's like now the brand is a goddamn disgrace, man. Okay? And like Ella Yashawama said, we been had black fatigue. We been had nigga fatigue, nigga woman fatigue. You know, y'all nigga late. We don't damn near recover. You know, shit. We don't recover. Y'all just now getting the symptoms. So we know judgment at hand. You know, whatever. Whenever a nigga make 1 step left, we take 10 steps right. So we just getting farther and farther away from niggas and the nigga woman and that whole nigga community, man. It's so peaceful not to be in that shit, man. You know, and the world The Lord is gonna give us the authority to enforce Israelite male supremacy in the earth forever, man. And it's gonna be completely righteous, man.
Cool.
And we're gonna get. You want to say?
No, I have 4 more. Go ahead.
I want to say we're gonna get the respect back.
Mhm.
You know, not just from all these other nations, but from creation.
Yep.
You know what a damn lion or a damn dog got to do with, or you know, them coming up trying to bite you. You're the image of the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
You know what is a beast trying to bite the image of the Most High? You know that's off once
Yeah.
you think about it.
The fear of the animal gonna come back.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be complete reverence, man. That's why Scripture speaks about every knee shall bow in heaven, under the heaven, and earth. So that's all creation. You know, the birds, the fish. You know, everything is gonna reverence Yahushua, and we're gonna be an extension, you know, of that, and it's gonna be forever. You see, you got it, bro.
This is verse 2. It says,
Then we get that in Isaiah. We close on that.
It said,
Unless you had something else. Okay, yeah, get that Isaiah 1.
It said, as the judge of the people is himself.
Yep.
So are his officers, and the manner of the ruler of the city is such are all they that dwell therein.
Yo, so you see the atmosphere of the earth. You see the condition of this earth is a reflection of the leadership. Okay, this grimy, cutthroat, narcissistic, you know, self-centered, you know, self-absorbed, okay, proud, you know. Well, that's a reflection of the leadership. And on our kingdom, you know, you're gonna see the reflection, like the brother said, of the glory of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, true wisdom. You see, the earth is gonna be under the image, okay, of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. Right now, it's under the image of the beast. You know, you got it, bro.
It says, verse 3, it says, an unwise king destroyed his people.
Yeah, unwise king destroyed his people. Go ahead.
But through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited.
Through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited, man. So we're going to see life flourish. You know, we're going to see big families again. We're going to see, you know, people going back to living on estates. Okay, you're going to see, you know, men, all the men being men of skill and wisdom. The women, you know, being helpmeets to those men. We're finna see forever order established in the earth, man. You know, and the men that the Lord is going to do it with, those men are going to be, all right, in those top positions forever. Okay, go ahead.
It says, verse 4, it says, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, and in due time he will set over it, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable.
Yeah, that's Yahweh Shai. Because Yahweh Shai's rulership is going to profit the earth, you know, and you can hold that wisdom of Solomon 6 and 24.
6 and 24.
You got what you got.
Okay. This is John chapter 17, verse 5 and 6. And now, O Father, glorify thou me with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was.
Go ahead.
I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world. Thine they were, and thou gavest them me, and they have kept thy word.
You got it,
you know, and that glory, you know, it comes with the name of Yahweh Shem Shai, but that glory Yahweh Shai wants to receive back before is the glory that he wants to give to his brethren, his men. You know, like what Paul said, we know not how he shall appear, but we know we will be like him when he appear, roughly paraphrasing.
Yeah, 1 John.
You know, that's that.
Yeah, it should be 1 John 3 and 2.
That's that glory that we are waiting on, you know? That glory that's gonna set the standard. You know?
Yeah, 1 John 3 and 2.
Let me drop to Isaiah 61.
Yeah.
1 John 3. 1 John chapter 3, he said 1. 2 and 2. Okay. 1 John chapter 3, verse 2, it says, beloved, now are we the sons of the Most High, and it doeth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when we shall appear like him, for we shall be as he is.
Why? Because the elect is gonna stand stiffly for the name of Yahweh Shema Sham. When you stand stiffly for that name, you stand stiffly for that the ways of the Father and the Son. You know, you set a standard. You went against the odds. You know, to fight and stand for righteousness. You know.
You have to say much. It goes back to what the brothers and priests always say. You know, when we go back and look at, you know, the different men of the Bible, King David, you know, King Solomon, you know, the different those honorable men in the Bible. What do they have in common? They all stood against the odds. They did the thing that everybody else wasn't doing or wouldn't do. You know, they stood out in a righteous manner. They uphold righteousness. What did the Lord say about King David? I found it one that seek after my own heart. You know, roughly paraphrasing, but they're just, you know, to add to what you were saying, the brother. We always go into that about those men of the Bible. You know, they stood out. They stood against the odds. You know, that's what made those honorable men to where we're talking about them, you know, centuries and centuries and decades later. You know, you got it, bro.
Kind.
Those men gonna take their rightful place.
Kind.
Because all those men, you know, that we read about our forefathers, you know, Judas Maccabee, you know, Daniel, you know, Joseph, they all have, you know, their lot. It's an eternal lot. It's an eternal office. Okay, it's an eternal rank of authority that they got. Okay, and it's in Yahushua. So this is where Yahushua is coming to establish all these great men forever. You know, gonna make these men kings and priests forever. Okay, you got it, bro.
I was looking for this. I think it's Psalms 94 and 16. Let me see. One moment. Psalms 94 and 16.
Let me know. I'll read you. Break it down.
I got it, bro.
Okay.
This is Psalm chapter 94, verse 16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoer, or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? And who's that? It's gonna be what? First and foremost is Yahweh Shai. Then what? The house of David. You know? We're standing up against the evildoer, Esau Edom. You know? Proclaiming his name. Claiming the name of Yahweh Shem Shai, you know?
Putting it all on the line for righteousness' sake. You know, our forefathers, they had their mind made up, like, I'm gonna die behind this. You know, like, I'd rather die than, you know, bow to wickedness. Okay? King David, he fought Goliath, he like, look, you know what I'm saying? Finna take this nigga out, man. You know, this nigga talking all this shit against the Most High. Like, no, we gotta get this nigga out of here, man. So that's the mindset that those men will have, you know, is to be unmovable when it came to what was right, man. And we know everything that we own is this, everything that's in the scriptures we believe and we know is right. And the Lord putting the spirit on us to die if need be. You know? So at the end of the day, all right, we see the transition. So no one can tell us that this transition ain't happening. You know, we see it real time. Okay. Did you have something, bro?
I had that wisdom of Solomon.
We end on that. Let's get that Isaiah 1 and let's go to verse 26.
This is Isaiah chapter 1, verse 26.
Yep.
And I will restore thy judges as at the first.
Started at 25.
Verse 25.
Yep.
I will turn my hand upon thee and purely purge away thy dross and take away all thy tin.
Yeah, so the dross is the unwanted, you know, the worthless, you know, material within precious metals. It's the part that's not precious. So there's twofold, because the Lord is going to purge the nation. He's going to get rid of the 2/3, all the useless slag, okay, of the nation. The Lord's going to get rid of it. All right. And then the Lord is getting rid of those impurities in us. So we're being purged. So Yahweh Shai is purging. Okay. And ultimately he's going to come and physically purge the 2/3, and he's spiritually purging us. You know, and what's going to be the end result of that purge? Go ahead.
And I will restore thy judges as the first,
Yep, go ahead.
and thy counselors as the beginning.
Yep, I will restore thy judges at the first and thy counselors at the beginning. Go ahead.
Afterwards, thou shalt be called the city of righteousness,
Afterwards, thou shalt be called the city of righteousness. Go ahead.
the faithful city.
The faithful city. Go ahead.
Zion shall be redeemed with judgment,
Yep.
and her converts with righteousness.
Yep. So it's all about returning to righteous leadership. Because speak of what? Thy judges shall be righteous. Okay. So it's all about going through the process of the Lord refining a righteous rulership who he's going to establish forever. This is what we're a part of. This is what's happening in real time. This is why we're not caught up in the gimmicks and the shit of this world. This is play done. We tapped into this. What's coming next? Okay? You ain't got to be cute on YouTube. You don't need a big following. We don't need much. You know? Hey, we need the bare minimum because we understand what's coming. We understand we're a part of. We know what we on. You know? We overjoyed. You see, hey, this the joy that the world can't give us, man. What we believe and understand the coming, the world can't take this joy, man. You know, you got it, bro.
I finna grab it. Being dead to this world.
Yeah, we just end it. We gonna wrap it up. Yeah, get that
Okay.
Wisdom Solomon 6.
Wisdom Solomon.
Yeah, 24.
Got you. Come. Wisdom Solomon chapter 6, verse 24.
Yep.
It says, "But the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world."
Yep. The multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world.
Mhm.
So the wise leadership benefits everyone. And the Lord going to establish that leadership forever. So the earth is going to forever benefit off this rulership. So people are going to benefit. After 1,000 years, the heathens, they're going to enjoy the perks of a righteous rulership.
Mhm.
You know? And just speaking as a man, hey, you got to believe that life expectancy going to go up for the heathen, man. Because the earth is going to be fresher, cleaner. It's going to be revived. Okay, it's gonna be lively again, man.
It's gonna bear forth this strength.
It's gonna bear forth this strength. Yep. Go ahead.
People don't realize, like, when they're complaining and crying out about things that's going on in this world, you're really crying out for the world to be put back in righteousness, for the righteous rule to be put back in place.
You got it, bro.
It says, and a wise king is the upholding of the people.
And a wise king is the upholding of the people. And that wise king gonna be Yahushua. All right, and his cabinet, okay, which is 144,000. Those wise kings up under him. Okay. And it's gonna be forever. You know, their regime will never be replaced. Okay. You know, Esau like to do coups and all this. See, nah, that's not gonna happen in our kingdom, man. Okay. Ain't gonna be no coup attempt. You know.
Ain't gonna be none of this.
Yeah, man, it's just gonna be those men ruling in righteousness forever. Okay. Yeah. So
can I read 25, bro?
What's 25? You got
it says, receive therefore instructions through my words, and it shall do you good.
Yeah, we receive instructions, through these words, and it's gonna do us good, So the Bible is the manual of ruling the earth in righteousness, man. Okay, and this is what we're coming back to. All right, and the men that was predestined, to be in those top spots, all right, are being gathered together now, okay, and being prepared for those top offices under Yahushua. You see? So, Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified to the next time I say Shalom.
Shalom.
Kwame Yashala.
Kwame Yashala.
Baba Ba soon.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.